All right. What's going on, everybody? Good afternoon, good before noon. If you're anywhere in the Midwest or the West Side, I know it's still before noon, so I hope you're having a fantastic start to your day. It is Monday, Cyber Monday to be exact, and we're back with another episode of Leading Daily. I'm your host, Quincy Jackson, and I'm excited to have you here with me today. So if you had a great weekend, please let me know. Give me some hearts and some thumbs up in the comments. And just let me know what was your favorite dish from Thanksgiving holiday. So mine was always macaroni and cheese. So that's always a fun one for me. Hey, it looks like somebody's watching. What's going on? Good morning. All right. As I said, if it's 12 o'clock where you are after, good afternoon to you. So what we're going to do today is we're going to have the good conversation around the subject of failure. And I'm going to kind of share some thoughts with you about what I've observed about those that do fail, those that avoid failure, and how you can actually make sure that you approach the subject in the right way so that you can learn and grow from the experiences that you have as a result to overcoming and proceeding and facing failure head on. Okay. So, as always, I'd like to say if you haven't already done so, please subscribe. I'm excited to share some content with you. And if you want more content in the future, I definitely want you to be aware of when I do go live, upload videos, upload content, and it's all around the subject of leadership, helping you not only earn your next promotion in your company, in your job, in whatever line of industry that you're working in, but also how you can be more effective if you have your own business, a small business, and how you can help people in your organization and your team be more successful and more effective. Okay. So go ahead and smash the like button. Please help me out on that. And if you feel like this is something that somebody would like to benefit from, just go ahead and share it with them, and then we can enjoy getting this content out there. It's less about me and more about sharing the information. And then the more it's shared, hopefully, the more impact people can make and have made in their lives. Okay. Oh, awesome. Well, I'm excited to get into this. So I just want to read something out loud to you guys. I've already talked about this before, but I do have a leadership journal. I think you all have seen it at least on one or two episodes. I'm probably going to start sharing it more frequently with you all, just because I want you all guys to see that I do practice the idea of being a student. And not just reading books just to say I read books, not just watching videos just to say I watched a video. I'm more about figuring out what I need to implement into my life so that I can actually have a greater impact in the area of uniqueness and genius to me. And I want to encourage you to do the exact same thing. So, the key to being a great leader, and this is for anybody, whether you are in a corporate environment, whether you have your own business, whether you're a coach, whether you're a quarterback, whether you're a pitcher, whether you're a catcher, whether you are in any type of team or organization environment. The key to being a great leader is not eliminating our low periods, nor is it about winning all the time. Every inspirational story includes a period of failure. All lives have periods of failure, and we should be able to meet the dips and valleys of life with indifference and accept the wins without any arrogance. So we have to learn how to stay on an even keel. So learn to find the peace in the setbacks and the fallow periods, excuse me. If you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same, you will have great success. So as I was reading that out loud this morning in preparation for this video, one thing I thought about is an idea that came to me through a speech I've given at least two times to, I think it was a group of middle schoolers a few years ago. And the statement goes like this: when it comes to the things that are challenging you, the obstacles that are in front of you, you can either forget about everything that's in front of you and run away. And as you probably know, a lot of people do that. Or you can do the second thing, which is face everything and rise. If you break that down, you see that it's just an acronym for the word fear. And most people shy away from failure because they fear failure instead of actually embracing the opportunity in front of them that may require and cause failure, but learning something along the way. My wife was recently watching a show, I believe it's called The Mysteries at Blind Frog Ranch. And I'm not promoting the show at all, but they were actually digging for some sort of hidden treasure they believe to be in this cave like structure on their ranch. And they literally were digging a hole from 7 in the morning to 10:30 at night, about 80 feet down, with no luck and no success whatsoever. Now the question comes to mind, did they fail? And some would actually say, well, yeah, they didn't get what they were after. So, of course, they failed because they were not successful in achieving what they set out to achieve, their objective. And I would say, okay, on one hand, for sure, you are right. But then I would also say, were they failures because they tried and were unsuccessful? Or were they failures because, or what, excuse me, or were they successful because at least they made the attempt and the opportunity in front of them did not follow through the way they thought it would. So that's one thing I've noticed about people that either have great success in whatever their leadership position or calling may be, and those who usually stay to themselves in isolation without actually creating some type of ecosystem that gives them the opportunity to lead at a higher level. They fear the failure that could come with making the attempts. And the more you fear the failure of the attempt to be made, the less likely you are to succeed anyway. So one thing I want to encourage you to do is really sit down and think about what risks have you been taking lately? That's one thing. Number two, ask yourself, what are the returns that you'll get for taking this risk and for not taking this risk? You know, it should be calculated in a way to where it doesn't put you so far behind if you fail, but it also should be calculated in a way to where you see how far ahead you'll go if you actually move forward. And then the last thing I will ask you to do is, what type of reward do you plan on getting as a result of making this approach toward the opportunity for gain or failure? And one of the things John Maxwell has written about, and if you all know who John Maxwell is, he's one of the probably the leading authority on the subject of leadership because he's written the most books, I believe, than any other person in the world on this particular subject. But one thing he says is sometimes you learn and sometimes you win, or sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. And that means is in games, especially when it's a competition, which most games are based in competition, you will win and you will lose. There's no question about that. But the best leaders that I've followed and I've studied and listened to and tried to incorporate their way of thinking into me is you learn more when you lose versus learn more by winning. You'll learn something by winning, no question about that. But there's something about the idea of losing that creates a better learning situation than if you just win all the time. No, I'm not saying you should want to lose. Absolutely not. You should want to win whatever it is that you're competing against, for yourself, for your family, for your friends, for your workers, whoever it is that you not only are, are leading but working right on side of as well. But understand that you're not going to always win. You're not going to always lose. But when you do lose, ask yourself this: when I lose, I learn more from the loss, or do I just not learn anything at all from the loss? And that's a huge question for a lot of people to understand, because a lot of people, I fear, they expect to win all the time And when they don't win, they don't course correct on the things that they could have done, should have done, or what didn't they do that allowed them to create a situation where a loss happened for them. You're not going to win every single battle. You're not going to win every single game. And you're not going to achieve every goal and objective that you set out to do when you set out to do it. But if you don't course correct and make adjustments when those things happen, you take the risk, which is not the best risk. You take the risk of repeating the same mistake that caused your loss in the first place. So don't do that. Your time is too valuable. The people you lead are too valuable. The impact you want to make is too valuable. And you don't want to waste time doing the same thing a year from now that you were doing today. That's not the type of life I believe that you want to lead. That's not the type of life I believe you want to live. And that's not the type of life people really want for themselves either. So what I would encourage you to do is start to embrace things that are outside of your comfort zone, whether you have to pay for them, whether you have to drive somewhere to the next city over to get connected. You embrace doing something that's small enough to make you stretch and not so big that you can't see a vision for what it could be for you. One of the things that I struggled with early in my career and in my working life is just being very overly optimistic about what I could do without understanding that everything works in a way where it's slow and methodical, not just gradual burst of results that are positive. So it's always a gradual process with everything. And the same is true with whatever you're pursuing and whatever goal you have, whatever objective it is that you want to achieve. There's no need for you to think that you can't make big quantum leaps because you absolutely can. But in many cases, the big quantum leaps that people think they could make over optimistically, sometimes they're not grounded in a way that is systematically approached to have success at a very high level. So I'll talk about that more in a different video. This is, not the subject at hand at the time, but I want to encourage you that you have to make sure that you're embracing failure in the right way with the right frame of mind so that you can get the results that you desire to get if that's something that's really important to you, and it should be. So face everything and rise. What is it about fear that holds us back? Well, Napoleon Hill talks about, I believe there are fear of the six basic fears. I believe it's like loss of love, old age, ill health, poverty, and two others. But usually fear and the fear of failure is usually rooted in criticism, which is another fear as well. So if you can get past the idea that people are going to criticize me and people are going to say something negative about me, my family won't believe me, my current friends won't believe me, all of those different things. If you can get past that and to the other side of it, whereas, heck, if I fail at this, what I'm trying to achieve, I'm going to learn something that I didn't know, and specifically about myself. I'm going to learn something about myself that I didn't know before. I'm going to have insight about the situations that come to me in this regard that I didn't know before. And then also, I'm going to have wisdom that I did not know before. So embrace that, embrace those things. Because if you don't set yourself up for this new path you're trying to carve out into the unknown that you've never explored before, and sometimes you don't even have to do that. You can just follow the people that have already blazed the trail and let them guide you through the pitfalls and the landmines that could attack you and hurt you and create more failure than you need. Then if you don't do that for yourself, nobody else will. Nobody's going to come and hold your hand. Nobody's going to come and knock on your door. In most cases, they don't. Sometimes that happens, right? You probably have had some experiences where, somebody actually saw something and they offered you an opportunity, and you went forward in that, and you learned so much about yourself and about what you're capable of throughout that process. But those are really the exceptions to the rule of life, which I found to be true, is that you have to decide for yourself what it is that you're going to do, and whether you are successful or whether you learn. Those two outcomes are always going to be inevitable. So you have to chart your own path. You have to decide what it is that you want, and you have to face the things that are going to come to you as a result of that desire, and rise to whatever that occasion is. Uh, I just want to encourage you with these words. Notice this is something that a lot of leaders do, but not enough leaders do it well enough to push the envelope in the direction of where they want to go in the teams that they actually lead. So, real fast, I want to go ahead and take a moment, and I talked a lot about this in a previous video, which was the 6 biggest mistakes that I see a lot of people making as it relates to holding themselves back from whether it's their next promotion or being more effective as a leader in their organization and their team. And so I just want to share this with you, which is a new PDF that I just created. This big 6. It's the 6 basic things that mistakes people make when it comes to not being as effective as they can as a leader, and holding them back from the next promotion. So that's one thing I want to share with you there. Also, you can connect with me here on LinkedIn. I'm going to share my LinkedIn profile with you all so we can stay connected there. And I'm also going to share my X account so you guys can follow me. On LinkedIn, I usually share a lot of things related to leadership insights, usually shorter videos. So if you're on that particular platform, what you can do is you can connect with me, and we just talk business, we'll talk leadership, we'll talk about things that you're doing in your life and in your organization that maybe I can help you in some sort, shape, or form specifically. And then in X is just fun because I like to share different graphics and motivational quotes around the subject of leadership also. So if you have an X account, you can connect with me on X at this one spot right here. All right. So we're about 17 minutes into it, and usually try to keep these videos short just for the sake of time. But I hope that you had a fantastic weekend. Let me know in the comments what is the name of the company that you're working for, and it's not to put the company on blast or anything like that. But what company are you working for? What position do you currently hold? How many people do you lead? And then ask, if you want to, ask me a question that you think is something that is on your mind that you have maybe been dealing with or thinking about, but haven't had the support from your current leadership team as to getting an answer or result related to this question. Okay, so I'm excited to see what your questions are. And please remember to like the video if you like the content. Share the video if you think somebody else can benefit from it and will benefit from it. And we always like to respond to those comments in a way that helps you get the support that you think you need. And we want to do our job to bring you great value as well. So I hope you like this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Keep remembering to stay awesome, keep leading daily. And I'm your host, Quincy Jackson. I'll see you next time.